Nerd Rage Renegades.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nerd Rage Renegades back on the air, and what a great day it is because the mail came today, and it brought goodness. It
Certainly
brought
did.
goodness. Chief and I now, in our possession, in our hands, have our press badges for C2E2.
Yes, we do.
Now, Chief, you notice on the back of these, it says badge activation is required for all badges. Activate your badge at, and then it has this little thing here. I'm in the dark again. I was lazy again this weekend. I didn't put new lights in my vault. But we're going to have to activate our badges.
Do we have to do it? Can we do it any time, or do we have to do it day of?
I think we can do it at any time, so we're going to have to make sure we go and activate.
Oh, well, we could do that from our phones on the way there.
Yes, I have the C2E2 app now on my phone, so we are set. We're fucking set, because we're going to know, with the app on the phone, I'm going to have a complete layout of the entire con floor, so we'll know exactly where everybody is.
Absolutely.
We'll know where we are. We're going to know times of all the signings and autographs and panels and everywhere we need to be. I can even put the itinerary in this app, Chief, so we know where we need to be at what times.
Excellent. My wife is currently making an itinerary. Any information coming from DC on interviews, just send to her, and she'll put it in the schedule.
I have not gotten anything yet, but hopefully we'll get something because the con is. Come 1 week from this Thursday.
Yeah, we're 1 week out. We're about a week out.
We're about a week out, and oh my God, I am getting so psyched about this. I am getting fucking pumped.
It's going to be the best con you've ever been to, because I have, for us, in a luxurious downtown Chicago hotel, I have booked us 4 nights, no driving, all free shuttles to and from the con. I believe the shuttle even goes to Graham Cracker Comics while we're there. We've got 4 days of nothing but just us in the big city and big fun at one of the biggest cons in the country. So it's going to be fantastic.
And you are cooking. You're going to be cooking.
Yeah, I'm checking on the room. I got to make sure they have a microwave though. My wife's trying to call, because if we don't have a microwave, no point in bringing the food. Otherwise, it's going to suck. So I'm checking to make sure we have a microwave. But what we do is, microwave permitting, yes, I'm going to be bringing the food.
Well, what we do is, even if they don't have a microwave, if they have a fridge, we'll just put our lighters underneath our food to heat it up.
I'll buy a flambe torch from Bed Bath & Beyond.
That's a military. That's old school military way of oh my God, I have this pizza pocket, this hot pocket, but I have no fucking microwave. Wait a minute, I have a lighter, and you just hold the lighter underneath the hot pocket for 20 minutes, and it's good to go. It's fucking good to go. I mean, you eat.
How do you hold a lighter for 20 minutes?
It's good to go. You make do with what you got. You make do.
Yeah,
I am fucking, dude. I'm fucking pumped. You don't know how much. I'm pumped about the con, and I'm pumped about going to the museum on Thursday.
Yes, that's another added bonus to the trip. Not only will we be seeing all of our favorite writers and creators and all that good business at the con, we will also be looking for other little sightseeing things to do in Chicago. But Thursday morning, when we wait to check in, we will be going to the Chicago Field Museum, the Field Natural History Museum, whatever it is. The one where the Ghost in the Darkness.
The Field Museum, yeah. Now, I looked at it. I think we got to pay admission to get into that museum. I don't care if we do.
Yeah, I think it's like $38 to get in, but with that $38, you get all of the everything. You get because they have some certain paid displays inside the museum. So with the $38 admission, you get to do everything. You just get a pass, so you can go do everything.
You don't know how excited I am. First of all, the Ghost in the Darkness is there. The man-eating Sarvo lions are there. And that's going to be interesting to see, plus the dinosaur exhibit. I mean, just everything. I am a kid in a candy store and a museum, so this is going to be, and we're going to be filming from the museum. We're going to be filming some stuff from the museum to put on YouTube. Because I'm sure they're not going to be like, hey, you can't film in the museum. You know?
My wife's going to be there Thursday because she works for the hotel that we're going to, and she's going to, it's in her friends and family thing, so she's got to be there to do the check-in. So she's going to be along with us for the museum part of it. Her only request is to see the gem and mineral exhibit, but I plan on seeing everything because we're gonna have several. You're getting in at like 9 something.
Yeah.
We're gonna have until like after 3 o'clock till we can check in, so we're gonna have like all day to just roam the museum.
It was well, when I was looking at the plane tickets, it's like the earlier I fly out, the cheaper it was gonna be. Like if I waited longer, like till like the afternoon, it was gonna be like another like $40-50. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll get up at butt crack at fucking still dark outside and go to the damn airport. It's not the first time I've done it. I'll do it again.
I mean, we'll be running on empty probably by the end of that day, but then we've got the hotel. We'll just rest up. Then we've got a complete full rest before the con the next day. So and the con is literally right down the street from where we're staying.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna be early up. We'll be first there. We're gonna be there early. We got to get to Jim Lee. Jim Lee's only there one day, so we got to get to Jim Lee early in the morning.
Definitely.
So we got this wrapped up, man. Everything.
Now,
we're way better prepared than we were the first time we did this. 100 times.
Now, what do you think? What do you think for Jim Lee? Do I bring first Jim Lee X-Men or do I bring Wildcats?
You know what? I don't know. I was thinking something weird like a Batman cover or something that he did. I got to go through my stuff and figure out. That's one thing I have not done. I have not gone through any of my books yet. I've got everything out of the closet. I don't know if you can see, but everything is pretty much pulled out. I'm going to be going through all this shit this week to find the books that I'm bringing. Because people are still signing up and coming. We don't know who all is going to be there exactly.
You know what I got? It's a Batman cover. It's like him and Superman on the cover. And I remember, and this cover sticks out to me because there was 2 covers to this. There was the original cover, and then there was a second printing. Okay, there was a second printing cover. That's the only 2 covers.
You're talking about the recent Batman Superman series that was out, right?
No. This is Batman before Reboot.
Oh, so
before New 52. This is
okay. This is like before the wasn't like just a variant.
No, this is like actual cover. So it sticks out in my mind because, like I said, there are only 2 covers to this. There's the main cover, and then there's the second printing cover. And the second printing cover was like like just the pencil cover, the sketch cover.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why this sticks out in my mind is on an episode of The Big Bang Theory, Will Wheaton goes to a comic book store, and the guy's like, "Here's the variant cover to this exact issue that I'm talking about. The number escapes me, but he's like, here's the variant cover for that issue." And I'm
600 something?
Yeah, it was like 612 or something like that.
600 something.
614, something like that. And he's like, here's the variant cover. And I'm like, wait a minute. There was no... Are they talking about the second printing? Because there is no variant cover to this fucking book. I've looked on like Comic Book Realm and everything. There's no variant cover to this goddamn book. But Big Bang Theory is like, here's variant cover. The other thing,
supposedly they employ people that are like what do you call it, like
subject matter experts.
Yeah, or they employ like scientists and comic book guys and stuff. I've seen a few things on that show that are fucking wrong. That I've been like, that's fucking bullshit.
Like one of the biggest things that I hated, because I've watched that show, and there's some episodes I like when they're like here's why I think the show kind of goes off. First of all, there are some video game and comic book stuff that's real that on that show I like, but I don't know maybe I'm not that nerd, but they're always sitting there drinking wine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
don't drink at all, so
I'm like,
I don't relate to that
like,
at all.
I'll have a scotch or I'll have a beer, but like they're sitting there eating dinner with like this big old goblet of wine, and I'm like,
I don't know anybody that drinks wine.
The
honestly.
fuck? You're fucking what? You're nerd. I mean,
I think like
nerds drink wine. I don't care if you do. I'm not saying you're not a nerd if you drink wine. I'm just like they're more hipster than nerds.
Yeah, and one of the things I dislike about that show is that they make the nerdy stuff seem the butt of the joke all the time. Like, I think when it started out, some of the stuff they did was meant to seem like, oh, they're kind of cool because they're into this weird shit.
Yeah.
Now it just seems like, after I don't know how many seasons they've been doing that fucking show, but I mean, now it seems like after the first couple seasons, they started kind of changing the characters up a little bit, and then it was like, we're going to do everything we can to make fun of this fandom and this kind of person, and we're going to make them look like a stupid asshole that gets picked on all the time.
Well,
it's like, I've never been nerdy like that. I've always been into comic books and shit, but I'll beat your ass. I ain't playing.
There's an episode where it was right around the time Superior Spider-Man started, and there's an episode where they say that it's the word that, whose bright idea was it to put Doc Ock's brain in Peter Parker's body, and they're making fun of Superior Spider-Man, which was one of the best fucking runs of Spider-Man in, like, the last, 20 years.
Well, it was interesting, and it was different than every fucking thing they'd ever done. And they'd already done, like, the Clone Saga, where Peter Parker wasn't Peter Parker before. I don't know why it was so shocking that it was a villain this time. And I loved that series. I mean, Dan Slott, I don't know... He gets a little too political for me on Twitter. I can't really follow him on there anymore.
Spider-Man's become very, lately Spider-Man's become okay, here's Norman Osborn, and then there's another, 3-issue arc, but then we're going to bring back Norman Osborn, and then another 3-issue arc, and then another Norman Osborn. It's like repetition, and then there was another Clone Saga.
Oh, man, Norman Osborn was the pinnacle of Superior, too. Like, the whole thing with Superior was Norman Osborn was the problem.
And then they did another clone thing, and then they did a Venom thing. It's like Osborn clone symbiote. That's like all Spider-Man gets lately is this and he's dating Mockingbird. Oh, okay.
I would like to see something that would be cool and different for Spider-Man is do the Amazing Spider-Man. But do a big arc of him with the Avengers in Amazing Spider-Man, rather than him hanging around the same old neighborhood and the same old characters all the time. Do an arc of Spider-Man in space with the Guardians. Something different. I mean, they used to do shit kind of like that back in the day. He'd hook up with different cosmic beings from time to time, or Human Torch or something. Hook Spider-Man up with something weird and cosmic, or something interdimensional, instead of him fighting the same 5 villains over and over again.
Well, it's like in X-Men Gold. And like I've said, I've loved the X-Men books. In X-Men Gold, they just did a story arc where they were in the negative zone.
Yeah.
So you had.
I haven't seen the negative zone mentioned in a long while.
Oh,
really.
They have in X-Men there's quite a bit going on with the negative zone. So you had that, and now they got an arc where
isn't the other Raft in the negative zone? Isn't that where the other they've got a prison in there?
Yeah.
Or is it the microverse? I can never remember.
The microverse is in there. But then they come back, and there's this big thing going on with Mesmero and the new Brotherhood of Mutants. And the core X-Men, Kitty Pryde, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm, and Rachel Grey all get arrested, and now they're in the mutant penitentiary. They're in the box. They're in the Homo Superior penitentiary. So Iceman and Rogue have to are now training the younger generation X-Men to kind of fill that void while the main team are in prison.
Oh, it would actually be kind of cool to see the arc in what they're doing in the prison with all the other
you do.
Prison arc.
You do. And they're split off. I love how they're doing it because they have a split off where Storm, Rachel Grey, and Kitty Pryde are in the women's side of the penitentiary. Meanwhile, Colossus and Nightcrawler are in the male housing unit. Old Man Logan left to go wander for a while, so he's not there.
Of course.
He went to wander.
That's what he does.
But yeah, there's they actually show it, Nightcrawler and Colossus beat the shit out of 4 or 5 guys who try to beat them, and they're like, this is our first day. We had 4 people try to kill us. I wonder how many we're gonna have the second day. And then on the other side, on X-Men Blue, which is the young X-Men, the time-displaced X-Men, also with Bloodstorm, the Vampire Storm from an alternate reality, and the Ultimate Wolverine, they're going through time. And remember, even though it was a horrible story arc, and Coolbeer put it all in 5 panels, the Battle the Atom with the
Yeah,
older brother, like the future Brotherhood with like old man Deadpool and all them.
yeah.
They went back in time when the young X-Men went forward in time and took over their place and started killing like the Brotherhood of Mutants and everything. So now the younger X-Men are fighting this older Brotherhood. And that's written by Cullen Bunn, too, which is excellent. I mean, Cullen Bunn's we're going to see him at C2E2.
I've never really been disappointed by anything he's written.
No.
Some of it hasn't, like, it's, he's got some really great stuff and then just good stuff. But I mean, I've never said anything he's written is bad, ever. I would say some of it is adequate. And then some of it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
He never goes under that line for me, really.
Well, Guggenheim in the X-Men Gold annual wrote a really good story, and it was Megan and Captain Britain finally had their baby. So they invite Rachel Gray, Nightcrawler.
Does it have powers? Does it got like sea powers or something weird?
It's fucking like 3 months old, and it's a fucking genius. It's already
Wow.
talking like full sentences. It's a goddamn genius. It was able to work these mechanics. I'm talking like Valeria Richards fucking genius at 3 months old. But she's a genius, but she still doesn't understand, like she's still a baby, so she doesn't understand like the nuances between like good, evil, and things like that. So she's still asking like these childlike questions, but she's a fucking genius. It's a really good story, and
a lot of dangerous kids in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah. Well, there's one line I really liked is they get attacked, and Kitty's like Kitty Pryde's in like a skirt. She's like, God damn it, I keep having to phase so I can move. And Captain Britain's like, I've got your old Shadowcat uniform in a box, and like right back there if you want to grab it. She's like, I brought my own uniform. Plus, I was 13 when I wore that, so it probably doesn't fucking fit anymore. I mean, just some darn good writing in that, and it's fucking great. I mean,
I'll tell you one I think is really good that I think is underrated, and I couldn't even tell you who writes it at the moment. It escapes me, but the Spider-Man vs. Deadpool book is it's really underrated and really good. I think it's better than the Spider-Man title actually. And right now they're doing this. It's a future storyline, and I've got to read the second part yet, but I read the first one, and it's basically Peter Parker is really old, and he got the Chameleon, I think, broke his back in some battle that he had with Deadpool and the Chameleon and Spider-Man, and so Peter Parker broke his back and he's paralyzed from the waist down, but he's still got spider powers, and so he's like a 70-year-old man, and he's in a nursing home, and he's just kind of lamenting the fact that he can't walk anymore, and that he used to be a superhero, and then he got old. But in the same nursing home is Wade Wilson, and Wade Wilson still walks around he's just scarred head to toe still, and he just looks like a piece of beef jerky, and he's really scrawny and old, and he's got a big white beard. And but he's still I think he's like still wearing he wears sunglasses in part of it. I think he still puts on the Deadpool mask just down to where his beard just comes out the bottom of it, this big white beard. And he's like really gross, and he like never showers, and he just grosses out all the old ladies and stuff. And he's always trying to bang the old ladies in the nursing home. And you come to find out that because Deadpool is just fucking a billionaire for some reason.
Yeah.
He's got all this money. He's just basically following Peter Parker around, and because he wants to be best friends with Spider-Man, so he's just following Peter Parker around, and he bought his way into the nursing home where Peter Parker was to live right next door to him in the nursing home. So then he's like he wants to catch the Chameleon, and he wants to revive Peter Parker and get him feeling good about himself again. So he sets up this fake burglary, and so Peter Parker would get intrigued by solving a mystery again. And then, like at the end of the first book, it just shows Spider-Man in his costume, but in a wheelchair, like shooting a web, and like Deadpool hanging onto the back of the wheelchair, like old Spider-Man and Deadpool going out for one last kicking ass. Yeah, it's fucking good, man. I think that's a really underrated series. I don't know how many people, if it's popular or what, but I read it all the time, and I've been getting it since it started. But I think it's really good.
Are you caught up on Avengers yet?
Not at all. I just got my books the other day, and I've got about 8 parts of No Surrender to read.
Oh man, you gotta read it. Oh man,
I got my when I picked up my books finally, I had a stack fucking
Oh, that
yay
was
tall.
me. That was me the other week, and I'll say this: I hadn't picked up so I had been picking up my Marvel side, but because we get the DC, I hadn't been picking up like my DC ones, so they've just been kind of like sitting there. And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the only bummer about New Comic Book Day for me, by the way. If I can jump in there, is I've already read everything. When I get my books, I read a lot of DC, and I've got a few Marvel in my list. And every time I pick up my books, everything I've already read. I've got a stack this big I've already read.
You know, and it's gotten to the point where a lot of the books I've started cutting down on them. So like Metal, Doomsday Clock, I'm gonna get those single issues because they're this big event. But a lot of the books, it's just kind of like I don't really want to pick them up because I've already read them. But then it's that thing of, well, if I don't pick it up, I'm gonna not have that run in my box, you know. But yeah, I spent a couple hundred to get my books out to you.
Yeah, that's what mine was, $198 like 2 weeks ago.
Mine was like way more than that. But you know, like I said, I've been letting my DC pile up. And April's just, oh shit, ooh. Next month, Sonic comes out. We got to hit the IDW booth while we're at C2E2 because I got to see if they got any Sonic promos while we're there because Sonic starts next month from IDW.
Well, the good thing about this year is that since we're staying practically right on site, we can just take our time. We can just browse whatever and go back to the hotel whenever we want.
I mean, we got the.
We don't have that hour drive. That's the thing. An hour drive in the night kills me every time.
I mean, we got the turquoise tickets here. We got the turquoise tickets, so yeah, that.
I wonder if we get to go like right through the thing, or if we have to walk around that big mile-long line. I wonder if we get like all access to just walk in.
I think we just get to walk in. I'll have to check, but I mean, there's so much to do. There's so much to see. We're gonna have to hit up the public. I mean, honestly, from us, we go to DC. We can show them, like, you know, we can say, hey, we're reviewers for you guys, but it's also, we got to hit like Dark Horse, IDW, Boom. We got to hit all those other publishers.
Well, yeah, I want to. We got the email from Image that they wanted to set up some times. I don't know if did you send them any times yet back or anything?
No, I told them who we wanted. It was, who do you want?
Okay, so then you're just waiting for them to respond to that.
Yeah, and hopefully they do.
Everybody wants Jason Aaron. That's who everybody's asking for.
And I sent him a follow-up email and said, just wanted to make sure you got my email about who we wanted to interview. So I'm waiting. Maybe they're putting everything together. But
we'll probably be getting some emails all this week. We'll probably be getting some publisher emails
this week, emails next week. That's probably what we're gonna do. I'm excited because there's just so much that we're gonna be able to accomplish. And here's what I'm loving is the things that we're going to be able to bring to this show. I mean, we're looking at if everything goes right, we're looking at a couple weeks where basically you and I just get to say, hey, here's a bunch of interviews, and we can it's going to be interview shows. People are going to get to hear all these interviews.
It's definitely going to be at least 2 shows worth of stuff because we're going to be filming and podcasting for 4 days straight. Yeah. And probably cutting some movie commentaries in the hotel room after the con. So.
Oh yeah, if you could look for me, there's something I need. So I'm thinking, just off the top of my head, if you can find headphone splitters for a laptop, that would be, if you see them.
I think I might have one. I used to use, when I used to record, I used to have my digital 8-track set up when I played with my band before. I used to have a couple of those.
We need that. We're going to need that. That way we can hear the movie in the headphones, but it won't show up on audio. And we can just use the recorder to record.
Yeah, I'm also going to see if I can...
Bring your tripod, too. That tripod we used last time that hooks onto that mini tripod, if you know where it is.
Okay, yeah, I got to find it.
Remember that?
It's around. So I got a couple different ones. I'll see what I got.
Okay.
But I'm also going to see if I can... I got to see what kind of TV we got in there. Because if we've got a TV and we've got Wi-Fi, I can bring my Amazon Fire Stick and we can watch the shit right up on the TV.
I do want to say thank you to everybody. We had, as my phone goes off, we had a few people respond to us about the Patreon question we gave out last week, Chief.
Yeah, I saw one of them. I haven't seen any other.
Well, Mod, fantastic Mod, She actually,
whose cat? My condolences to Maud. Her cat passed away just recently, so condolences to Maud.
and happy birthday to Maud at the same time because the other day was her birthday.
That's true. Yeah. Happy birthday, Maud.
She actually said she would, if anybody, if we wanted to do this, she would provide Nerd Rage Renegade keychains.
Hey.
So we'll talk about that. And then Stephen Wilds, who we shouted out last week, which he corrected me on one thing. Thank you. Megabyte from Reboot was not Tim Curry. It was Tony J, who did the voice of Megabyte. So I made an error.
Still Captain Hook though.
Still Captain Hook, and he was Claude Frollo in Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he sang that song Hellfire, which was a damn ballsy fucking song for a Disney movie, because it's basically, do I fuck the gypsy and burn in the fires of hell, or do I stay pious for God? I mean that's a ballsy fucking song in a Disney movie. But he said he wants a video for Patreon. He would like for like a perk, a video of you versus me, the gauntlet of video games, where we face off to find out who the tougher renegade is. Mario Kart, Tetris, GoldenEye, Street Fighter, 5 rounds of wrestling trivia, 2 points apiece, winner takes all.
I don't know. I might have you on first-person shooters since you don't play them. But other than that, I'm going to get killed and everything.
You might get me at GoldenEye. Now Tetris, you're not going to touch me on Tetris. I play a shit ton.
I don't
of
know.
Tetris.
I'm pretty good at that too, though. I give you a run for your money on that. I guarantee it, because I've owned it in several different forms over the years, and I used to play the arcade game a lot.
I guess that is the question. Which Tetris are we playing? Are we playing the NES licensed Nintendo Tetris? Are we playing the Tengen version? Are we playing the Game Boy version? Are we holding?
I am down for Game Boy or the original NES version.
That's what I'm thinking. Street Fighter, once again, another question. Which Street Fighter? You say Street Fighter, are we doing the original Street Fighter, or as it was known on the TurboGrafx 16, Fighting Street? With Ryu! Are we doing...
You know what? I don't know. That's going to be... Some of those will be a toss. There's a couple of them I know you're just going to kill me at. But some of those I'm not too bad at.
Street Fighter may be a toss-up, because I was always more Mortal Kombat than I was Street Fighter. So that's...
I've always loved fighting games, and I like first-person shooters. So that's where my advantage is going to come in. Everything else I'm going to be screwed on.
Mario Kart, I'm good at Mario Kart.
I am not. You'll slaughter me in Mario Kart instantly.
It all depends on who gets that turtle shell. And I guess it's safe to say I would I would win at the 5 rounds of wrestling trivia.
Oh, for sure. I don't know anything. I might as well just tap
out
of that.
Unless all
hey, I'm willing to do any of this. I'm just thinking I'm going to get killed.
He put up there, he goes, maybe a Q&A sessions with us, which I'm all for. I love Q&As. I'm all for that. And a goal could be either a comic book tour of like some of our comic books, or once a month one of us reads a comic book like it's a children's book.
We could do it. We could do both of us and do it Masterpiece Theater style.
You know, I have been itching. I don't know if I want to do Masterpiece Theater or if I want to do like an actual like radio drama, but I'm like itching for something like that.
I would want to do the radio drama. I think the radio drama would be fun, but we just have to get a script for one. I don't know where we'd get that.
Can we get like old like shadow radio shows?
Paul Lynde would have to be the shadow though. That would be the funniest thing. Paul Lynde is the shadow.
Who knows what lies in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Kids.
Or the pants of men.
Oh, I know what's in the pants of men, Chief. It's big and it's bulgy. We're talking about the Patreon. We're still talking about that, so we'll see.
Well, I'm totally up for any of that stuff. I mean, that sounds all right to me. But like I said, some of those games I know I'm just gonna be murdered in instantly. Because
should I bring the SNES Mini Classic and we can play Street Fighter?
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, bring whatever you could comfortably take with you. Well, I mean, don't fucking kill yourself.
No, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I gotta bring my CPAP machine. Yes, I have a CPAP machine, so I gotta bring the CPAP machine. So you're gonna have to put up with that at night. The CPAP machine.
I like it. I like noise at night. I can't sleep without noise, so that's good.
Because
Turn it up all the way.
Because otherwise, if I don't have that every morning, I'm gonna be like this narcoleptic slug. I'm not gonna be able to do like shit. So I gotta pack that.
I keep a fan running in my room constantly because I can't sleep without noise. So if it makes noise, it's all good with me.
We gotta have the fan going. I can't sleep in heat. I have to have cold. This is gonna be the
me
odd
too.
couple. This is gonna be the odd couple in the hotel room.
No, I'm with you there. I don't want it hot either. I don't like hot
Are we
rooms.
gonna? Since I'm gonna bring the laptop, are we gonna be listening to H.P. Lovecraft books on tape at night?
Maybe. But maybe. Yeah, well, the only reason I was doing that is because my fan burned out and I had to buy a new one. And so when at night, because I didn't have my fan, I was putting on the books on the audiobooks of Lovecraft from YouTube.
Your heater's
but
not gonna,
I bought a new fan, so I don't need to do that anymore.
Your heater's not going to go anytime soon, is it? Okay.
No, it's not going to go up.
It's going to be interesting because we're going to be in a hotel for 4 freaking nights. Which means there is going to have to be, every night there is going to be that call from my kids, because my kids are going to have to call and talk to me for a little bit at night. But we're going to have movies to watch. I'll have my laptop.
Well, I think it won't be as bad, too. I think the problem we ran into with getting tired was last time that you had to drive like 2 hours back. And we had to, not only that, we got lost. We had to pick up Panda from the airport. We had to take her to where she was going. Then we got lost. We had to turn around. It took us like 3 or 4 hours to get home. And then by the time we got back, it was like, midnight or later, and it's like, what the fuck?
And that was because her dumbass fucking former boyfriend didn't want to, help her out, which is bullshit. Which luckily he's no longer around. But we had so much stuff we wanted to do that we were trying to get the Neighbors watched, and we had all this other stuff we wanted to do.
We got Neighbors watched. We got a few things done, but I think it's just gonna. This is gonna be.
What Nate Ricky Rick?
This is gonna be a lot better because, like, as soon as the con is over, I mean, we're right back to the room, and we're right there, still fresh, still wired from the con. We'll be up, hanging out. Who knows? Maybe we'll go to some parties. Somebody's having a party. Maybe we'll go to that.
Yeah, I mean, we got a musical.
We got the whole. We got 4 days. Yeah, we do. We're going to go hang out with Lloyd Kaufman on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna have a blast, dude. This is gonna be the best. It's gonna be the funnest time you ever had.
I am so looking forward to it. First of all, I need a break from work.
Me too. I need a break from everything. I need a break from life. I need a break from my house.
That's why we're getting away from everything,
Go into the promised land of comic books.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this: I am not going
toys.
I am not going to go hog wild with buying this time. Buying is Sunday when the books are coming down in price. I'm not going crazy. It's not, I need to have that variant or something like that.
They slash, man, like 60% off on Sunday.
Definitely not buying any of the food that they got there because that is just fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like $8 for a slice of pizza, like $5 for a bottle of water. We got that tram runs all day long. If we go in, we can go in for a couple hours, walk around, and do what we got to do. We want to take a break, go hit the tram, go back to the hotel for an hour, hang out, relax, get a bottle of water, get something to eat, get the tram, hit back to the con. I mean, we could pop in and out of there all day long.
It's going to be great. We're going to get pictures. So many pictures. I mean, I am bringing batteries. I'm bringing battery packs for the phones and tablets and everything. There's going to be so many pictures being taken. We're going to get cosplayers. We're going to get normal people. We're going to get creators. It's just going to be everything. We're going to get. I mean, I'm like I said, trying to figure out what to get signed. I'm bringing a Man Thing. I'm bringing one of his Man Thing issues for Chris Claremont. Because everybody's going to bring X-Men. I mean, I'm going to bring an X-Men book. Probably. I don't know if I want to bring his first story. If I want to bring like Days of Future Past. Because how many Days of Future Past has he signed?
Well, he signed mine, so I know he's seen at least 2 of them.
He's seen at least 2 of them. But I know I should bring one of his Man Thing stories because
like I said, he sees that like everybody in that line had X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
Even I had X-Men stuff. But when he saw the Tales of the Zombie that I had, he like lit up because it was something different. It wasn't X-Men for a change. It was something that he did a long time ago, and it was like it was a magazine story that he'd written. There wasn't even any illustration to it. It was just a magazine story. And I had him sign it on the inside, like right under his name, like on the inside of the book. But he like lit up with that, and he was like telling stories about it, and he was making fun of the fact that Marvel misprinted the title of the story inside the book. He's like, "What is this? They got the title wrong."
we're looking at this, and they're adding guests, like, they'll add guests up to the day of the con.
Yeah, it goes, and sometimes people just pop in, like somebody might just be going through Chicago and say, hey, I'll pop in and see my buddies over at C2E2
Like, I keep waiting to
up.
see Scott's name pop up. I have not seen Scott's name pop up yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if he's doing any more cons this year. Like, he was talking kind of like he was taking a break
I
here
think he just did WonderCon. I think he just did WonderCon. But there is a slew of names here. Brian Michael Bendis is going to be there, and yes, we give Bendis a lot of shit on this show.
Yeah.
We give him a lot of shit, but we actually have legit questions for Bendis.
Well, I mean, I'm not so far into the Bendis hatred that I'm not willing to give his Superman a shot. I'm waiting to see what it's going to be like. I hope he don't kill Crypto. That was the thing he was trolling everybody with. But because you know I love Crypto. But I'm willing to give his Superman a shot. I mean, how bad could it be, really? Yeah. He's written some good stuff before.
Claremont's going to be there, as we said. Christopher Priest is going to be there. His run on Black Panther was amazing.
Yeah, I think he's doing Justice League now.
Yeah, he's got Justice League and he's done Deathstroke. Of course, Cullen Bunn. We're going to try to...
one-timer this show, one-timer the old show.
Yeah. So that's definitely someone we would love to talk to in person, since he's a former guest. Chief, you want to see Jerry Duggan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jerry Duggan's Deadpool. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people like the old X-Force style Marvel 90s Deadpool, but I'm a big fan of Duggan's Deadpool. I think it's a lot deeper. It's more comedy, but I think it's a lot more real. You know what I mean? It's a lot more down to earth Deadpool than we've seen before. And I don't think that it's funny to me. Him and Jerry Duggan and Brian Posehn did that Good, the Bad, and the Ugly arc in Deadpool, which was when Wolverine and Captain America came into it. And that was probably the most serious Deadpool arc I've ever read. Like, Deadpool, like, depressed Deadpool and sad and caught in a catch-22 because the scientist that's stealing his body parts and creating Korean mutants had his daughter and was threatening to kill her if Deadpool ever stepped out of line, and then told him you better just let him take the organs he needed from his body and keep regenerating organs. And so he was kind of resigned to doing that. And it took the Agent Preston, I think is her name, that was in his head. The ghost of her wouldn't let him quit and said, look, you can't just lay here and let this guy do this. You have to stop him. And Deadpool's like, no, I can't do anything. You'll kill my daughter or whatever. I can't do anything. And so she found out she was able to actually move his body with mental thought. She could control Deadpool's limbs, but it was really shaky. So she had him like fucking zombie walk up to the roof of this building. And she said, there's 2 guards down there. I'm going to throw your body off this roof. You better fight or they're just going to kill you. So she just kind of threw him off of a building, and he just kind of landed on the ground next to these 2 guards, and he kind of snapped into assassin mode and took him out. And then he was like serious, angry Deadpool for like 4 issues. And you didn't see that too often from Deadpool. He's always with the wisecracks, and he's the merc with the mouth. But in that arc, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly arc, Deadpool is serious and he's mean, and it's really good. And it's just weird that 2 comedians wrote that arc, and it's one of the more serious ones.
Jason Aaron and Jason Latour will both be there. 2 guys. I've met Jason Latour before. Let me tell you, Jason Latour, stand-up guy. So last time I was at C2E2. I guess he was about to do like a signing at like the Marvel booth or something like that, or one of the booths. And I was standing like first in line at his table, and he came back to get something, and he was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and sign your books right here. And because I told him a few of the books were for my daughter because she's a huge Spider-Gwen fan. So he actually drew like on a sketch cover, or actually no, I think it was on the Scotty Young cover. He drew like his version of Spider-Gwen on that cover. So stand-up guy, Jason Latour. So I'm excited for that one. Now, Chief, I want to know, do you want to meet Jill Thompson?
Sure.
You want to meet the writer of Scary Godmother?
No. I don't.
Why is it she is at every C2E2? Like every time I
She
look at
must be
C2E2,
from Chicago, I'm
she
guessing.
must be because she is always there. And
Well, Doug Walker is he's usually
yeah.
there too.
Um.
But Doug's actually talented.
Yeah.
Did I say that? No, I didn't mean that.
Jim Lee, of course, he's there Friday, and we got to
Yeah,
get
Jim Lee is another stand-up guy, by the way. I met Jim Lee back in '91. I think it was right after they left and started Image, and they went on that tour with Liefeld and Jim Lee and everybody.
Yeah.
And they came here to my shop back then, and I went and I met Jim Lee, and Jim Lee is one of the nicest dudes you'll ever fucking meet when you go meet him. I mean, he is above and beyond. He reminds. I think Scott Snyder may have taken some because Jim Lee was a little bit of a mentor to him, I think, coming up, and I think he's kind of taken his manner with fans a little bit from the way Jim Lee is. Jim Lee is a super nice dude if you meet him.
Yeah. Now, there's someone. Now we haven't really talked about this person, but honestly, I would love to meet her. Joelle Jones. She actually is. She drew the art for the arc where Batman and Catwoman go after they get engaged. They go to the desert to meet Talia.
Yeah.
She was the artist on those books.
That was some cool use of the desert scenes. Were some really cool like light and shadow. The ones with Dick and Damien when they were waiting for him at the gate to come out. The desert scenes of that was really cool looking.
She's a great artist. I mean, she's fantastic. I would love to sit down and talk to her because her art is just amazing. Those are some really, really good issues on art, and I want to say she also did some the art for the arc where where Batman. Yeah, I think she did the art on the arc where Batman and Wonder Woman go to the fight the Horde.
Oh yeah. When when the Gentleman was in it.
Yeah, so she has some really good art. So definitely, I would love to talk to her because they're just great. Hey, Jock's gonna be there.
Yeah, good art from that dude for sure. Art Balthazar don't really care that much.
You're looking at it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to bring it up.
Mark Waid, of course, we got to say hi to Mark Waid.
Yeah, Mark Waid's there.
Now,
Charles
do we try for Mark Miller? Because I don't know. Will he even talk to press, or do we have to buy the VIP tickets?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go out of my way for it. There's Claremont. He's
Neil
cool.
Adams.
Neil Adams is cool. For anybody wanting to meet Neil Adams or have him sign anything, he charges like $30, I think, for a signature. But a great artist. Drew the quintessential Batman of the '70s, I think.
Yeah.
And Neil Adams is an icon. It's worth $30 to meet Neil Adams.
Yeah. Tom King is a definite with Tom King. A few people have canceled, but nothing too big. Of course, people they sign up, they cancel. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Liefeld was supposed to be there one year, and he canceled last minute and didn't show up.
Yeah. I mean, Morgan from The Walking Dead canceled. Now, I don't know if that's because he heard Chief was coming. Or what.
I don't think so. I've got no animosity towards any of the actors. It's my animosity lies with the showrunners and the people trying to make a quick buck off of shock value.
Yeah. Now, they have added Aaron Douglas, who was in Battlestar Galactica, the reimagining of Battlestar.
Yeah.
I'd love
David Mack is also going to be there, too. Really good artist.
Charlie Cox is going to be there. Daredevil is going to be there. CM Punk's going to be there. Now, I would love to meet Daphne Zuniga. She's going to be there mainly because she was in Spaceballs.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff in the 80s. Frank Cho also going to be there.
Frank Cho's a great artist. I love his work.
Amazing. I got to get my Savage Wolverines out for that.
Now, here's my question. On this show, we have had the original Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes, I almost forgot about that.
Because I got him at Virginia Comic Con. The original Blue Ranger, David Yost, is going to be there. Do we go for two Power Rangers?
whatever we've got.
We've
I'm
got time.
seeing
We're
that
gonna have
since
tons
we
of
don't.
time. He's there all days. We've got tons of time.
I don't know like how communicative C2E2 is with us and how we set up interviews or anything, but I say we show up, we go where the press goes, and we get what we can get. We hit and run, brother. That's how we do it.
Well, we know we're going to talk to Lloyd.
Yeah, well, Lloyd's already. We already confirmed with Lloyd's people that we're in for that, so we're going to. But yeah, I don't believe in doing the ambush interview. But I figure if we got press passes,
it's not going to be ambush. I don't want to do any ambushing. I want to go up to their people and say, what times do you have available? I want to put it down. I want to go during that time. I want to talk to them. I don't want like I don't want to be that dude when we were waiting in line to meet Amanda Connor and Joe Palmiotti, who just
that guy was
everybody
a pain in
in
the ass.
line and sat down. This dude. Now I understand I'm a bigger guy. But this dude, honestly, he looked like comic book guy from fucking from The Simpsons, and he cuts in front of this huge line. I'm talking this huge line of people to meet Amanda Connor and Joe Palmiotti, and he sits down, pulls out his cell phone. Now, people, I understand technology, but I have an actual recorder, an actual Tascam recorder that I do the interviews off of. Because I feel I can work with it, I can record, I can scroll through everything. I'm not going to worry about, your phone doesn't have enough data or enough memory on it for this audio or whatever. He sits down with his goddamn iPhone to do this interview, and literally was like, so you remember, when you were at this one con, and this thing happened? And we're just sitting there like, you fucking dumbass. And Amanda
We weren't even really doing press. We got exhibitor passes from Scott Snyder, but we were just there to get books signed. We weren't even, trying to interview anybody.
And she was, so nice, because she was like, I'm sorry you guys had to wait because of that. Here, have a cupcake. She gave us cupcakes.
Yeah, they were good too.
Yeah, they were great cupcakes, and she was just so nice. Richard Epcar is gonna be there.
Klaus Jansen's gonna be there too.
Hey, do we want to meet Ron Kittle of the Chicago White Sox?
No, not really.
Okay, but we got.
I'm not a White Sox fan, so I don't know what I'd talk to him about.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at these pictures. I think if the person is from Chicago, they have that little, blue lines with, the red stars on them.
Yeah.
Because, CM Punk has it, Sven Gulli has it.
Mike Norton.
And I know they're from Chicago.
There's Neil Adams there.
Actually, CM Punk's picture doesn't have it, but I know you
Patrick Gleason would be cool for Superman. That would be cool.
I know you would like to meet Sven Gulli.
Oh, yeah. I was just watching Svengoolie, The Mad Magician with Vincent Price. I was just watching that while I was eating.
Sean Gunn is going to be there from Guardians of the Galaxy and Gilmore Girls. Tom Kenny. SpongeBob will be there.
Oh, I've seen Tom Kenny do stand-up before live, and oh, man, the guy's funny as hell.
Now, one of the big things is Geek and Sundry's show Critical Role. A lot of their people are going to be there. I've never watched Critical Role.
I haven't either. Ryan Stegman's going to be there again. Hey,
I like Stegman. Stegman's a class guy.
He's a funny dude, too, on Twitter. If you follow him on Twitter, he writes some pretty funny shit.
And then, of course, the literary guests, which I'm looking through here. There's not too many people on the literary guest side that sometimes I'm excited for some of the actual authors that are going to be there.
Well, Terry Moore is going to be there. That's cool.
So, there's some, like R.L. Stine would probably be cool. Just because...
Tim Seeley. That would be cool. Tom King.
There's just so many people. We're going to try to get as many as we can, like we said, to bring these interviews to you. We're just going to have so much fun while we're there.
Yeah, I don't know. Any of these, I really could care less about any of these canceled ones. All the good ones are still going.
Yeah, all the good ones. It's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be real interesting because, the last time we went to C2E2, we were doing press, but we didn't have press badges. We had exhibitor passes from Scott, but we didn't have press badges, so it was kind of hard to actually do interview type stuff. But with these press badges, that's what we're there for, is to interview these guests and to do coverage of the convention. So it's going to be a whole different format, and we're gonna have fun, but we're gonna do some work, but we're gonna have fun, and that's the big thing.
It's in the same place too that it's always in. So I like that place. It's a nice place. It's pretty easy to get in and out of. We've had to park there before, but I always bought the special parking that was like parking down there costs like $60 a day or something. But I would buy like a 3-day pass from one of the parking garages down there, so I could just park every day and in the building and have a prime spot every day.
In the what?
In the parking garage that's attached to
in the what? In the building.
Oh, threw me off with the building reference.
I am William. I am William Ding. You can call me Bill.
So much money.
Oh yeah. Okay. No worries.
I love that guy.
Okay. No worries.
Milton has almost surpassed Djibouti as my favorite.
That's gonna be also we're gonna be there, so we're gonna be watching a lot, especially with my accounts. We're gonna be watching Twitch stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've got all the same.
Classy has created a new serial killer, Paul Cannon, and it's funny because when he was creating him, somehow this character ended up looking exactly like Classy. So it's like everybody's like, Classy, you created yourself in the game. He's like, I know, shut up. I know he looks like me. But he's like this nerdy photographer.
I haven't watched Classy in such a long time because I've just been so into watching Milton. That guy, because Milton is fucking crazy.
Okay, think of a number between 1 and 10. Lucky number 7, get on the bus. And then they ran from the cop, and Chang fell down.
He's like, just serious, Chang, get on the bus.
I love it whenever they get hurt and they go to the hospital with Djibouti because it's always Dr. Pepper. I don't like Dr. Pepper on his own. I don't like Dr. Pepper's like when they focus only on Dr. Pepper.
You know what's funny is the cops and everybody just accept him as the doctor at the hospital. He starts doing the doctor voice, and the cops are like, "All right, doc," and they like talk to Djibouti like he's the doctor.
They talk to Dr. Pepper. Yeah, it's great.
It's funny. I love that the cops. I love that Eli's not around, and that the cop.
Eli.
The cops are the cops that are on there with them usually are pretty laid. Like Officer Dazzler is fucking fun.
I love Dazzler. I don't know who some of these new ones are that they come up with. Like there's been a shit ton of new. This is a segue into talk about GTA RP, by the way, everybody. There's so many new cops on the there's so many new cops. I don't know who they are. Like where's Andrews? Where's Bayo?
Oh, Andrews was in the last one with Chang and Bill. He pulled him over.
Okay. But like Bayo.
You haven't seen Bayo in a while. I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen Trooper Doyle in a while. Haven't seen, of course, Eli other than a few weeks ago. But I hate Eli. I really don't want to deal with Eli.
He's a lot of people don't like Eli.
Yeah.
He's kind of a dick, and he does things in RP that he would ban someone else to do.
Yeah.
And that's why he's kind of a shitty guy.
Like pulling an assault rifle out on Chang because his phone rang.
Yeah, that was completely uncalled for. And the thing that's really stupid is that one of the things I think they need to do with the GTA, I'm sure that they're advancing and everybody's preparing for GTA 6 whenever that comes out. Nobody knows when that's going to happen. But one of the things that they need to do is to implement a judge and court system.
Yeah.
I think. Because I think you should be able to appeal some of that shit. Some of those cops in that game are just looking for interaction, and they will just fuck somebody and claim all kinds of charges on that you can't defend yourself against.
No, you can't.
And they will take you out of the game for 45 minutes if they feel like it. And
they did ridiculous. That to Djibouti the other day where they took him, they put him in prison for 15 minutes, and then he gets out, and because of Milton, they go back to jail for 45 minutes.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. That is, and there's no recourse. And I've seen a couple of clips. There's a couple of hate videos against Eli on YouTube.
Oh, there's a lot of hate videos against Eli.
One guy had a thing in there where Eli, a guy was RPing a lawyer.
Yeah.
And Eli broke RP to yell at the guy and told him he was going to ban him from the game if he didn't get the fuck out of the police station. Now, I think that is fucking ridiculous. Eli should have been banned for that right then and there.
But they're like, oh, we have a warrant for your arrest.
If you got a warrant, where's the judge?
Who's
the judge that signed it? It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
like we have a warrant for your arrest against Chang from like
If
the
you
8th
if,
of.
yeah, if you don't have a court system, you can't issue warrants to arrest people later for shit. That's
I mean,
bullshit.
shit. Jerry would have like 50 fucking warrants against him. Because Jerry's done a lot of fucking shit. Chang.
Wait, I think that Jerry would have been banned. I think Djibouti interacted with Eli right off the bat, like early on. He would have got banned. He would have never got in that. He would have never got on that circuit.
Luckily, Djibouti's so close with Classy, and has made friends with everybody. Classy, Timek, Proxy. They're kind of untouchable at this point.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like that Milton, and as much shit as Milton starts, man, he's untouchable too. They've got to draw so many eyes to that. Just the Bill and Chang stuff has just been fantastic. By the way, anybody that's following this, that listens to us, the last one they just did is really fucking funny. You should go watch it.
They put Bill in the trunk because he was incapacitated.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one after that. You watched the one. You watched the one after that, right? Where Andrews.
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, there's a new one. It's the
I gotta
new
watch
one's
it.
good. Yeah, it's real good.
I gotta watch it. I've been learning how, even though I'm married, Chief, I've been learning how the art from Tommy Wiseau's nephew about seducing.
That's the second
seducer.
half of that is probably what I'm going to watch when we get done here tonight, because I have not seen that yet, and that is really fun. I'm telling you. There's nothing on YouTube or Twitch or anything that's funnier than Djibouti. They've got everything, like every bit of their content makes me laugh. There's nothing, and I swear, because they're the only things that I patronize and subscribe to. I'm a patron on their Patreon, and I subscribe to their Twitch every month. And I think they fucking deserve it. They pump out so much content, and every bit of it is quality, funny shit.
Have you seen the latest Dub It Out?
Yeah, I don't quite remember. I've only seen it
the
once.
old guy working at the 7-Eleven. It's all crap. You're eating crap.
I wouldn't eat nothing here.
I wouldn't eat any. It's like this old guy, but he sounds like he sounds like
Fuck you! He's screaming at the guy.
He's like, the guy's like, I want my pizza more burnt. You want it burnt? And he's like holding on to like the pizza oven like he's driving it. Like
he's like, you touched my pizza. Make me another. You didn't wear no gloves. Make me another one. I wouldn't eat nothing out of this place.
It's crap. It's a bunch of crap.
He's got that real high pitched voice too.
I'm telling you, there's so much good stuff going on. Before we get out of here for reviews, I did finish the second season of Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh, I got to start the first one yet,
and
I'm going to watch it because my wife is really bugging me to watch it.
This show is great. The second season has more blood than the first one. There's more of her going just crazy killing.
Well, that's a plus for me. That you're selling it now. Now you're selling it.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. In the second season, the husband wants her to stop the random killings. Well, she finds, as she puts it, her lobster tank. Because what do you do with a lobster tank? You go in and you say, I want to eat that one. And you pick the lobster out of the tank, and that's the one you eat. She finds her lobster tank.
Has to be live. She can't just go to the morgue and eat dead bodies.
She can't. Well, she can, but she has to get the meat. So, her lobster tank is a Nazi white supremacist softball team. So I know you'll like that. But the whole show is great, and Nathan Fillion comes back for the second season. I'm not going to tell you how he comes back, but he comes back for the second season. He was in the first season. I mean, the whole premise of the show is she ends up dying and coming back as a zombie. And they're trying to figure out how she became a zombie. There's like some... And
she's the only one like that in the whole show?
No, they find more. They find others. But she... So it's all about her trying to... One, maintain her life as a realtor with her husband and raise their daughter, but she's a fucking zombie who kills and eats people. And then trying to keep it from the neighbors and the cops and everything like that. And all this weird shit happens. I mean, it's a good show. It's not your lumbering, zombie show. It's actually like, I'm dead, I'm hungry, I need to eat. But I don't want to lose my family type of show. But it's great. Andy Richter is in the second season. I forget if he was in the first season, but Andy Richter's in it. It's just, I highly recommend that show. It is so good. Luckily, I had finished all of the episodes of Nightmare Tenants and Slum Landlords, so I could watch Santa Clarita Diet. No,
I want to see that show.
What, Nightmare Tenants and Slum Landlords?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's British. It's a British show about British tenants and landlords. It is amazing. So, like, I guess I don't know if we have them here in America. Maybe we do, but in Britain they actually have like councils and stuff that protect the rights of like landlords and stuff. So.
Well, they have landlord rights and shit here.
Yeah. So like there was this woman had decided she was going to sell her cottage that she had, but she decided to rent it out for 3 months while she got everything situated to put it on the market. Well, the tenant that rented it from her ended up not paying rent and stayed there for 5 years. And she kept trying to get this woman evicted, but the woman kept coming up with these excuses of why they can't be evicted. She's like, well, there's mold and there's all this other stuff, and she won't fix anything in the house. And the judge keeps going, well, we can't do anything. You need to fix this fucking house. Well, she's like, but every time I send the builders in, she won't let them onto the property. So how are we supposed to fix anything if she won't let them on the property? Come to find out, after they finally were able to get the woman evicted, that she lied about everything that was wrong with the house. And they're trying to figure out where she got pictures of this like mold and stuff, because there's none of it in the house. But it's all stuff like that, and it's great. Like these tenants, like, and I'm sitting there going like, they're like, oh, well, they owe me like £30,000 in back rent, and I'm trying to get them evicted. Or this one guy, he was like a property developer, and he bought like this old rundown swimming pool, and he bought it, and before they could get the permits to build this new housing on it, squatters moved into the pool. And since it's a commercial property,
fucking nightmare.
Since it's a commercial property, they can't evict the squatters. Right? You know, they have rights. They have to go to court and everything. So there's all these squatters. So the lawyer comes by to give them the eviction notice, and the squatter's like, "You can't go on our property." And the lawyer's like, "Actually, yeah, I can, because I have a court order and permission from the landlord, from the owner of the property." They're like, "But you don't have our permission." He's like, "I don't need your fucking permission. You're a squatter. You don't own this property." Oh man, if you can, it's on Netflix, dude. Nightmare Tenants and
Oh, my wife will love it. I hate shit like that. Like she likes that show Hoarders too, and that show makes me sick.
No. See, not Hoarders. I've watched Hoarders. No, one of my favorites, and I used to watch this when I had cable. I would watch this all the time. Cash in the Attic. You ever watch Cash in the Attic?
I've heard of it. I think it's where they find valuable shit in old houses and stuff.
But it's British. It's BBC. So it's like they go through these people's houses in Britain and England, and they're like, "Oh, where'd you get this chair?" And they're like, "Oh, I picked it up at a store about 5 years ago." And the guy's like, "Well, looking at this is like a 13th century something chair, and it could fetch like $6,000 at auction." Here in America, it would be like, "Hey man, where'd you get that there coffee table?" "I bought it from the IKEA about 2 months ago."
"I bought it at Walmart. It's plywood."
"Yeah, I bought it at the Walmart." "Well, that'll fetch you about $1.50 and a cup of coffee at a yard sale." Like, we don't have that shit. We don't have this old fucking shit in America, and I love watching it in on.
Well, I mean, we do, but a lot of regular people don't have it.
Yeah. But everything is like, "Where'd you get this teacup?" "Oh, that was my mother's teacup." Well, this teacup was actually created by this famous teacup maker in like 1850, and he only made like 3 of them. And it's
that antique mall that I showed you when you were up here last time, it has shit in it like that, and it has some really fucking amazing, like old turn of the century woodworking antique, like woodworked stuff. At one time they had a bar like that was taken from an old Chicago hotel, and they had the whole wood bar inside of that antique mall all set up the way it looked in the hotel, and it had like glass chandeliers all the way around it. It was just a big brass railing on it, just beautiful old shit. I love looking at old shit like that too. I love old antique stores. I love museums. I love old shit.
See, but I love these shows. I fucking love these shows, and it's my wife. She gets me hooked on. She's like, "Oh, I found this new show," and I'll sit down and I'll watch it, and then she'll like fall asleep on the couch, and I'm so engrossed I go like 5 or 6 episodes past where she was, because I'm just like I can't stop.
Oh, I'll get
watching.
murdered. I'll get murdered if I do that.
I
was trying to watch. I was trying to watch The Punisher, and you know how bad I love The Punisher,
Oh, yeah.
man. But that came out. I wanted to watch that. I had to wait like every day. I'd get a few in before she'd fall asleep, and then I'd have to stop, and then I had to wait till the next night and watch a few more. I was like, oh my god, I just want to watch the rest of the shit.
Well, she's like, I found a new one. It's like weird medical something. I'm like, you mean that one we watched where like the dude got his dick caught in like a camping stove because he was high and his girlfriend said, why don't you fuck the camping stove? She's like, no, that's True Stories of the ER. This is like something different. There's like a whole episode on like bad boob jobs and stuff.
Oh man, no way.
I don't
anything surgery, anything
no,
related
they don't
to people
show
getting
the surgery.
sick or
They don't
surgery
show
or
it. No,
hospitals.
they don't show it. It's just like true story. It's like one was like a guy comes in and he's like they can't figure out what's wrong with him. And his girlfriend was with him, but then like his other girlfriend showed up, and the two girlfriends start fighting in like the wife is there, and then the girlfriend shows up, and they start fighting in the waiting room, and he's just like, I'm faking the whole thing. I don't tell them I'm not really sick, but I didn't want them to find out that I was cheating on each other, and I'm just like, man, this is like this is true life, and it's fucking amazing.
One of the things that there's not anything in this world that really scares me. I'm not scared of horror movies. I sit here and bullets fly around my house, and I am not scared of it. You start talking about hospitals, emergency rooms, disease, germs, that scares the shit out of me. Keep that shit away from me. I am terrified of disease and germs. That is the only thing in this world that scares the shit out of me.
I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm not afraid of sharks. I'm just afraid of snakes. Where are their arms and legs? I'm terrified of snakes. I'll put it that way.
I'm terrified. I don't mind snakes at all.
I'm terrified of snakes. It's unnatural. Snakes are not natural. They're fucking not natural. And we went to this shop one time here in town, and the guy's like, "Hey, want to come see the snake back here I got?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to see it." He's like, "Oh, come on, man, come and look at it." So I peer in. It's a fucking monocled cobra. A fucking venomous cobra. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why? Why do you have a goddamn monocled cobra?
I have a reasonable fear of snakes. Like, I wouldn't, like, try to grab a cobra off the ground, but I can, I think they're cool. Like, I can watch them, like, in a documentary or see them in a zoo display or something like that, and they don't scare me. And, but like a python or like a grass snake or something, I could pick that up. That didn't bother me. But yeah, no, anything to do with germs. I'm not scared of anything in this world, but germs and the movie that scares the shit. It's a terrible movie too. But one of the movies that scares the shit out of me is Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, yeah,
that scares the living hell out of me. I don't ever want to watch it again. It scares me so bad.
You know what movie scares the shit out of me? Glitter. With Mariah Carey.
Well, that's just terrifying. But anything to do with an outbreak, even the part of the stand where everybody's getting sick and dying, that skews me out bad.
See, and I'm always at the VA hospital. I'm always there, mainly because I get, they take care of my medical. But the only thing at the hospital that really pisses me off is the R2-D2 machines. The Daleks that walk around there because they always bump into me. I'm like, aren't you supposed to not bump into fucking people? You fucking Dalek motherfucker, exterminating shit. But no hospital visits while we're in Chicago, man. No hospital visits.
No, nowhere near the hospital. I mean, if anybody coughs near me, you'll see me start sliding away. Get away from me.
I am good to go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you. This is I guess this is part 1 of the road to C2E2.
Yeah.
Considering we got one more episode before we are actually at the con. This episode and the next week's episode, which will go up I will have that up next week as I'm packing to go to C2E2.
Yeah, we will be on the social media everywhere letting you know what's going on. We'll let you know ahead of time if we're going to live stream anything.
Yep.
Anything like that, so you'll be kept in the know.
It's going to be
in 2 weeks, man. 2 more weeks, and we're there. We're at the thing.
It's going to be one hell of a time. So, make sure that if you want to follow us, now, if you want to follow us, there's going to be a couple places you can follow us. First and foremost, YouTube, because we're going to be putting in a lot of stuff on YouTube from this trip.
Yeah.
So make sure you go to
actual video. We'll see some video for a change.
Yeah. So go there, YouTube, Nerd Rage Renegades on YouTube. Make sure you click that subscribe button because that's where we're going to be putting a lot of stuff. I know a lot of you are listening. So go to YouTube and click that subscribe button. I'll even for you, I will put the link to our YouTube in the description so you can go follow it. And hit that little bell there because if we do go live on YouTube, that's how you're going to know. You're going to get a notification. The next place will be Twitch. I'm thinking we might try to do some live streaming on Twitch.
If we got if we got the thing to do it with, we'll be doing probably some NES games maybe.
And even if we're not, maybe some real life, like we'll go there and we'll just chat. But if you go to Twitch, Nerd Rage Renegades on Twitch, just look for our logo, look for Black Phillip. That's how you'll know where we're at. Go look for us there. Because I still need to get an Elgato.
I forgot about that.
I don't have one yet. Maybe we'll take a look. I don't know. But Twitch, make sure you go on there. Facebook.com/NR Truth Radio if we do a Facebook Live session. Then, of course, Twitter at SpaceChief75 and, of course, Nerd Rage Renegades. That's where you're going to be finding a lot of the stuff. A lot of the updates will be on the Twitter box. So go and follow us there.
That's where I'll be all the time because I'm usually always on Twitter. So you'll see me on Twitter. I'll be putting out notifications whenever Spin tells me to put out notifications. Also, we'll be doing all kinds of social media interaction in the next couple weeks. So just keep your alerts on, and you'll see us.
I mean, probably as soon as we take a picture at the con, it'll probably be uploaded to the Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
It'll probably go boom, boom, one and the other. Crystal is going to tell you all the platforms that the show is on every single week.
The Nerd Rage Renegades are on the air every Wednesday on Podbean, Stitcher, Player FM, iTunes, Google Play, and every Thursday on GamingRebellion.com, Filling the Void Podcast Network, and now iHeartRadio.
And now we're going to have her hit that spoiler alert because we got some good DC Comics to talk about this week.
Yes, sir.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The Renegades are about to spoil this week's DC Comics.
DC hit us with the 1-2 punch this week. I'm talking Metal and Doomsday Clock. The final issue of Metal and the 4th issue of Doomsday Clock. So let's start with Metal because I loved it, but there are some issues I kind of had with it, and I think you did as well. Yeah,
and if it's what I think it is, we probably have the same issue with it. I really liked it. I love that Batman. One of the parts that I really, really loved is Batman grabbing the Joker dragon and saying, "I've got a ride," and just gets on it and flies it where he's got to go.
Yeah.
Because Batman is a hard ass. But to me, my main problem was that it seemed like there's the everything. It's just been one disaster after another for the Justice League and all of this. And you got Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl are fighting their way to get the Hawkman's mace to the top of the mountain where everybody's at, where the tuning fork thing is. And so they're fighting and everything. And everything is hopeless, and then all of a sudden Detective Chimp shows up, and then everybody's got 10th metal armor on, and then everything's okay, and they all stand in a prayer circle, and everything works out just fine. And I just thought, wow, it really skipped over a lot of shit here.
It almost seems like this should have been, like, this should not have been the last issue. Like, there should have been one more issue.
But there should have been at least a couple more pages or something.
Yeah, because they really didn't do it like it seemed like a lot of stuff had to do with music or tones or sounds. Yeah. And then they really built up, like, Detective Chimp and these other people were going to play this gigantic role in the final battle, and
the music, like they made a big deal out of his musical training before he was intelligent. Yeah. And they made this big deal out of the music. None of that came into play. Detective Chimp showed up with Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman and a bunch of other things from Universe 53, and
Like,
they
it was
just
like
came
one
in
or
and
two
started
panels,
fighting.
and then it was over.
Yeah, and that's it. And then in the next couple of panels, all of a sudden Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman come flying out of the dark dimension.
They do a
Or
Care Bear
the dark
stare.
multiverse. Yeah, they come flying out with 10th metal now that we've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And they're all wearing this silvery armor. And then they go around and they stab all of the rest of the Justice League with 10th metal. And then all of a sudden they all have 10th metal armor.
Yeah.
And then they fight the Dark Knights. And then Hawkman, Carter Hall, Giant Dragon of the Forge. Carter Hall fights Giant Dragon of the Forge Barbados with a giant hammer, and they never explain how Carter Hall becomes human again. Just all of a sudden he's in a hospital bed.
It really does seem like there should have been something else, because it did seem like everything wrapped up way too quickly.
It almost seemed like they ran into a corner and they were like, how the fuck do we end this with just 6 issues? There's so much, we've set this up for so much more, and they were just like, nope, fuck it, we're not continuing this on anymore, you're not getting any more issues, we're cutting it off at 6, you better figure out a way to end it. And then Snyder just had to sum up his story too fast. And
yeah. Now, I will say there are some really good parts in this issue. There's some fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
parts.
throughout the whole series, it's been great. Just the ending seemed very rushed.
The battle with the Batman who laughs, I think, for me, was the most epic part of the entire book.
Well, I guess we can reveal it since this is the spoiler. The Joker and Batman fight side by side against the Batman who laughs. And that is a cool part. Batman even says this never happened to the Joker.
Well, I loved it when he's like, just pull the fucking... Batman's like, just pull the damn trigger. And the Batman who laughs is like, oh, I'm going to. And Batman's like, I wasn't talking to you. And then there's the Joker behind him and shoots him. And then, they start fighting together, and Batman's like, this never happened. But the Joker's like, you may think you know...
that part's good.
That part was good because the Joker's like, you're fighting as Bruce Wayne, who was infected by me. You're not fighting me. You don't know how to fight me.
Yeah, he's like, you think because you're, he's like, you think you're fighting, you're still Bruce Wayne. You're not me, and you may think you know how I think, but you don't think like me. You could have never predicted I would fight side by side with the Batman.
Yeah. And then what's interesting is Batman leaves. The cave starts crumbling. Like, the cave starts caving in.
Yeah.
Batman leaves, but the Joker is still there over the body of the Batman who laughs. We don't see what happened to the Batman who laughs or the Joker. So
well, we know the Joker's coming back for Tom King put out a preview image the other day. The Joker's going to show up at Batman's wedding, so we know he survives this.
Yeah. But that's interesting. They didn't kill Barbados. He's chained in, like, the dark dimension.
Yeah, they didn't end him. They've got him chained somewhere in the dark somewhere.
Now, here's the other thing that didn't make sense to me. Plastic Man comes out of the egg in Metal. In this final issue of Metal, Plastic Man comes out of the egg.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the Terrifics book, he was in the egg, and then he came out of the egg because he got hit because he came in contact with the dark multiverse. I'm
gonna guess if you even ask that to whoever at DC, they'd say multiverse.
Probably
happened in another timeline. Yeah, because you're right. He comes back, and Plastic Man even says at the end, "I hope I don't come back and transform into a giant egg again."
Yeah, but that's the issue with when you have a book that's supposed to take place after your event come out before the event is over.
Yeah, and it didn't make sense because that's not how the event ended. Even the guy who writing the Terrifics had no idea that they were going to actually unleash Plastic Man in Metal. So
and that's
he had
Ivan
him in
Reis
the egg
and Jeff
still.
Lemire writing the Terrifics. Jeff Lemire and Ivan Reis are writing the Terrifics.
Which is really good, man. That is a throwback to like 70s Marvel DC type storytelling. That is a real throwback book, and I really like it a lot.
And we're going to get to that second issue here in a little
bit. Pick of the week. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to say it now.
But then they have that whole epilogue in Metal. It's like it ended, and then there was this whole long epilogue, which kind of sets up this new age of DC heroes that they've been coming out with, and then they tease the Hall of Justice.
Well, they broke the rock, they broke the wall, and they broke past the wall, and there's a whole other like whatever behind it. So they they don't know what's out there. Even Bruce Wayne says we have no idea what could be coming and what's out there. And he kind of pulls a Tony Stark at the end of this and says we have to get bigger, basically, to the Justice League.
And that's what's going to lead into Scott Snyder's, I think his Justice League that's going to come out, this No Justice or whatever, that's going to be coming out. But this is where I have. Because remember a while ago when Metal came out and then Doomsday Clock was coming out, they said it was all, like even Tom King said like it was all connected.
Yeah.
We know that Metal takes place in Rebirth or during the time of Rebirth.
Yeah.
But breaking down the wall that they're talking about, could that have also been what was allowed like Ozymandias and all of them to come to this to the DC universe for Doomsday Clock?
There's it's so hard to say because there's so many weird parallels in DC that end up going nowhere.
Yeah.
That you were expect like the Detective Chimp thing. I fully expected a complete musical.
After Wild Hunt, that issue Wild Hunt, I thought Detective Chimp and the chimp world was going to play a much bigger role than they did in the
basically there's one panel, maybe two, in the last issue of Metal of Detective Chimp, and Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman, like front and center. Well, where did he come from?
Yeah, it does. Like there's some things that are still kind of like I feel we're not wrapped up.
Yeah, I don't think, good. And maybe he'll get another one shot after this or something to explain some of it. Hopefully. But I hope there's something because that seemed like it was great up until they all did the Care Bear stare at the end and then everything was fine again.
Yeah.
It was like, that is the biggest cop out of an ending.
And Scott, we love you. But it was basically like they held hands and it was like the Care Bear movie too. It was like, we care. We care, and
go Carter Hall!
Yay, Carter Hall! But
the Hawkman will fly again.
But they set up that the Hawkman's coming back. There's something with Sandman going on because like one of the books is missing.
Yeah. Well, there a new Sandman series coming out pretty soon.
I think so. So there's quite. With so much build up, I feel that the ending. There was a letdown with the ending. There should have been a double-sized issue. It should have been like a real double-sized issue that way you could get everything in. And I'm not going to put that on Scott.
Should have been a 35-pager at least, or
I don't.
More.
And I don't put that on Scott. I don't know. Maybe it's the editors. They're like, you can only have this many. But
I'm thinking he got rushed. I'm thinking it was going to take longer, and I'm thinking DC probably went to him and said, "Look, we got it. We got Terrifics coming out. We're trying to progress in this new universe thing, and we got to get this book out." And I have a feeling somebody went to town editing some shit because there's some stuff missing.
They still they're putting out these new age of DC heroes, but there's still a few that they have. Like I haven't seen Brimstone yet. Did I miss that one? I haven't seen Brimstone yet. There's one or two, or the Immortal Men haven't. That book hasn't come out yet.
They previewed the Immortal Men in a couple of books, but they have. I don't think the first issue's been out yet.
Yeah, so they've come out with a few of them, but not.
The Immortal Men looks cool, by the way. I think
that one does look cool. Now the Terrifics. Yes, we'll discuss the elephant in the room. Yes, this is like Fantastic Four, and that was what a lot of people had an issue with the first issue. They're like, oh, this is just DC copying Fantastic Four.
Somebody's got to. Marvel's dragging their ass with the 2-in-1s. I finally bought those issues that I was missing, but I haven't read them yet.
I haven't read them yet. I bought them. I had to buy a second printing of issue 2 because I missed it. They missed it when it came out. But there are similarities because you have an intangible girl, you have a stretchy guy.
Couple stretchy guys, technically. Metamorpho can stretch.
Yeah, Metamorpho can stretch. But
got the really smart guy in Mr. Terrific, which is kind of like Reed Richards in a way. But yeah, I dig it, man. I think it's some of it's some real retro style. Like there's one particular scene I love when Plastic Man and Metamorpho when they have to pull that antenna thing out.
Yeah.
of the dead god world thing that they're on. And when they pull it out, where they're all kind of bickering and fighting as they're pulling it out, I mean, that just seemed like a total Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm moment from like an
Yeah.
old Fantastic Four comic.
I mean,
And man, I loved it. It's my pick of the week for sure this week.
I love it because, first of all, it's nice to have Plastic Man back in the DC universe, and he's
I love him because he's wacky too. He's like he used to be.
Yeah, he's wacky, he's crazy. You get a little bit more backstory on this girl who was stuck in the dark multiverse. And and at the end, finding out that because of their proximity to the dark multiverse, somehow they cannot be apart. They have to be together.
Stuff explodes if well, she tried in twofold. She can become tangible again, but when she becomes tangible, everything around her starts to explode, and so she had to go intangible again. It was like the first time she'd been actually a tangible person in like decades. But when she tried it, she almost blew up the world. So she had to go intangible again. And then Mr. Terrific goes to go to his lab to find out why if she becomes tangible. And once he tries to leave and gets far away, then everything starts blowing up again. So he has to come back, and now they're all kind of shackled together by some kind of energy from the dark multiverse.
And I just love the line when Mr. Terrific goes to leave. There's like, man, he's a dick.
Yeah, what a dick. I like Metamorpho. Metamorpho's pretty cool. He's like, he's very Ben Grimm. That's another comparison that can be made. Is Metamorpho's character is very much like a Ben Grimm. He's very plain spoken. He's more of just a regular guy. You got Plastic Man, who's kind of a lunatic, but he's kind of the Johnny Storm kind of character, kind of immature and smart mouth. Then you got the intangible. I can't even remember what the intangible girl's name is, but she's kind of like your Sue, and you got Mr. Terrific, who's kind of like Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And I love it. And and the dark multiverse kind of reminds me of like the microverse or like the negative zone.
And you have I mean, just the artwork with like you have this gigantic dead god and them trying to escape.
That was cool. Yeah, I love that. I love the angles they got on Plastic Man, like when it starts to wake up and Plastic Man's like stretched way up, like looking down at it, and you can see the different, like the weird angles that they draw Plastic Man from. Like his point of view is pretty cool.
It's a great issue. I highly recommend it, and yeah, I would say for me it is the pick of the week. It's just of all the ones they've come out with so far, Silencer, Sideways, Damage, and this one.
And I like because it's old school, like it's like old school second tier DC characters, like given their own title and given a chance to shine, and it's like it's cool. It's not a brand new. It's not a brand new character like Damage or whatever, but it's a brand new team and using old school characters, and it's just cool, man. I highly recommend getting the Terrifics if you're not reading it.
Now, Doomsday Clock was interesting this week.
Yeah, basically it's just the origin of where the new Rorschach comes from.
Yeah, and that's had my head spinning. It really had my head spinning. It was like trying to wrap my head around all of that.
It really calls back to stuff from Watchmen.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff from Watchmen that wasn't too elaborate. It's like the aftermath of Watchmen. Like what actually happened after the squid monster attack or whatever, the alien squid monster attack and all that. It's like you get a lot of the news reports and what's happening in the world. Apparently Robert Redford is the president. And it's just really weird and kind of running down the aftermath of Watchmen, which it's kind of like the epilogue to Watchmen we didn't get. And but it's kind of cool that the new Rorschach is the son of Rorschach's prison psychiatrist.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they talk like I guess before he became Rorschach, he was also in a mental institution after everything that happened with the squid attack and everything. Yeah. And he meets Mothman, who was one of the Minutemen. One of the original Watchmen.
That's weird. He's up on the roof naked and he flies away.
and they say he just kept doing it over and over and over again. Like he would fly away, he'd get contraband for him, and he would get caught again and come back.
Yeah.
And then, finding out that he's in Arkham. It kind of intercuts. It intercuts with him in the Asylum in the Watchmen universe to him being in Arkham, and Arkham. They showed like Mr. Freeze like once or twice.
Yeah, he's like Mr. Freeze is in his cell like looking out or something. He's got like a freeze capsule or something. He's messing up.
And he keeps getting interviewed by this doctor that we find out is actually Batman. But then the ending is he gets broken out by this woman named Jane Doe. Originally, I thought maybe it was Harley, but it's not. I guess it's not Harley. It's somebody else.
Well, she's got powers too, because she's been in his head for a week, and it's a busy place, so she's got some sort of psychic power.
This was an issue that really didn't further the story. It was more just, who is this character?
Yeah, well, I think that was a big question, though. I think that's one of the big questions of Doomsday Clock is, where did this guy come from? And they spent a whole issue. Like, I'm hoping they don't abruptly cut Johns off with this. I hope he's able to tell this the way he wants to.
Yeah.
Because Watchmen's
it's a big story.
It's a big story, and Watchmen itself is a slow burn to read the graphic novel of that.
Yeah.
And it's Alan Moore is very descriptive, and it's very long. And with this, I hope Johns is able to do it justice. I hope they don't say, oh, we got to bump this up, we got to hurry this up and get these out and screw up the story. I hope he's given the time to do it, because so far, it's a slow burn, like Watchmen, like an Alan Moore book would be, but it's Jeff Johns writing it, and it's got Justice League characters in it. And I think given the proper amount of time and letting Johns do his thing is going to make this a classic. But if they rush it and they fuck it up, it's going to be a laughingstock.
And even then, the only Justice League you see is issue 1. We got one or two panels of Superman, and then you get Batman. We haven't seen anybody else really. It's been all we had like
most of that lead up most of the lead up to this was the Button. So we got a lot of the Justice League, Flash and Batman and all that.
Yeah.
In the Button issues, and now in the actual meat of the Doomsday Clock story, we're 4 issues in now. It's been mostly Watchmen stuff. It's been mostly aftermath of the Watchmen, where what Veight's plan is, where the new Rorschach's coming from, what Dr. Manhattan's up to. There's been a lot of concern with the Watchmen universe and Veidt trying to get Dr. Manhattan to come back to their universe and save them. And the question is still up in the air, is Superman Dr. Manhattan? I think so. I don't know if that's I don't know if they actually confirmed that because they said Dr. Manhattan. He said, well, John can change form, and he took the form of someone else here, and so I'm thinking that it's Superman. It could just be a red herring that they're leading us along, but I'm thinking that it will be connected to this rebirth Superman who seemingly came from nowhere after the death of the New 52 Superman, and this old school, here he's going to get the red underwear back pretty soon. Old school pre-crisis Superman just comes out of fucking nowhere. I'm thinking that's Dr. Manhattan in a different form. Maybe it will get to the point where they extract them and separate them, like they did the Hulk and Bruce Banner, where they actually pull Dr. Manhattan out of Superman. And but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. But so far, spending a lot of time with the Watchmen side of things. We haven't yet really got into how this is affecting the regular DC universe.
Yeah. So, interesting issue. Next up on the plate, Detective Comics. Did you read Detective?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so this one, still sticking with what's going to happen in the future. The guy Ulysses, who was working for the...
Now, is this the anarchy of a different... This is Ulysses of a different timeline that's come from the future to find Tim Drake.
Well, this is the guy that was working for Kate, for Batwoman's father in that whole thing. And he's shown videos of the future to Tim Drake and says, I can help you because I've showed you this because we can help each other. And basically this whole issue is Tim it revolves around that, and Tim and Batman talking about how, Tim's like, I need your help.
Yeah, well, it's basically the thing that Batwoman did to Clayface is not the thing that sent Tim Drake over the edge like they thought a couple issues ago. They thought it was, even Tim Drake thought, this must be the thing that Kate does that makes me want to kill her and stop her. But we find out in this issue, it's that in the future, she brings the colony to Gotham to kill Batman.
And she kills Batman.
And she kills Batman. So that is that. And then Tim Drake shows up and says, "What have you done?" And so that, we find out that is the thing that makes Tim Drake put on the cowl and want to kill Kate. So that we've been misled for a couple issues on that. Even Tim Drake thought that killing of Clayface was the final step. But we find out, no, she actually comes back and kills Bruce in the future. In the not too distant future, from what it looks like, too.
I like how Detective is basically, Dick Grayson has his own book. Jason Todd has his book with the Outlaws, and Damian has his book with the Teen Titans.
And the Super Sons, too.
And the Super Sons. This Detective really is Tim Drake's book.
Yeah, anymore it is. For a while, it was kind of
Batwoman
Kate
book.
And Orphan.
Yeah.
Centered around Orphan a lot. Then it was kind of centered around Stephanie Brown a little bit, and now probably the last 4 or 5 issues, it's been a Tim Drake centric book.
Yeah. So it's another issue in the long saga of what sends Tim Drake over the edge.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I'm really liking about Detective, and I was wondering for a while, am I getting bored with this or not? But then I started seeing it from a different way. You're clearly seeing the Bat family is completely divided now.
Yeah.
The Bat family that included guys like Azrael and Batwing and Batwoman and Clayface and Orphan and Spoiler. There's clearly separation between them and the boys.
Yeah.
The boys are family. And you can see that in that meeting they had about what's going on. Batgirl's not really family even. She's kind of gone against Bruce.
Yeah.
But the boys are family. He raised the boys.
It's in a way.
And the boys stay with Bruce no matter what. And the other team knows it. The other team are even amongst themselves like, the boys will never leave Bruce. They'll always back Bruce. They will not, no matter what he does, they will back him till he dies.
Even someone like Jason, who was kind of like, he kind of did go against Bruce a little bit with what to do about Kate, but he's still kind of like, you do what you want to do.
Well, he said, when I'm in Gotham, I don't use the guns out of respect.
Yeah.
For you and the cave and what you stand for.
The thing with Batgirl is, I'll say it again, I loved Gail Simone's run on Batgirl because it was a dark Batgirl. But since then, they've made Batgirl like this, I'm smarter than you are person. Like, I'm so smart, I'm smarter than all of you, I know what's going to go on, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Then it kind of sounds like it pisses Bruce off because I brought you into this family and you're treating, you think you're better than all of us. And even with the boys, they're kind of like, I mean, the boys won't leave Bruce. I mean, they've had their arguments before. Tim
Drake stood right there and said she's wrong, and he even told Bruce later in private. He said, "You worried about what Barbara said? Barbara is wrong."
Yeah.
He said, "You're right, Bruce. You're right about all of it, and Barbara is wrong. It's not about this or that. It's And he kind of laid it out for him.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about it, because there's like it feels like a real rift in a family in these last few issues, and I love that the sides are being drawn up. I love that the boys back Bruce no matter what. It's Dick, Damian, Jason, and Tim Drake will ride or die with Bruce. Even if he's wrong, even if he's dead wrong, they'll do it. And this other half of the team are kind of outsiders looking in, going, why are they so loyal to this man? He's insane, and his plan is insane, and it's never going to work. And so it's cool to watch the rift happen going on in DC and Detective.
It's cool because these people, like you said, they're like, his plan is crazy, it's never going to work. But the boys know he knows what he's doing, and it will work.
Yeah, well, he's the Batman. lived in the mansion. They've lived at Wayne Manor. They trained in the Batcave with the man. They've known him their whole lives growing up, and they know he's 10 steps ahead of even the Justice League. So you always follow Bruce. You don't go against Bruce.
The final one I read was Hellblazer, continuing the storyline of this priest who used to be part of this gang, bringing his brother's souls back and inhabiting the bodies of the police chief that young John Constantine shagged in the bathroom at the bar.
Yeah.
And Constantine trying to figure out how to help her. He summons a demon from hell, Blythe, to kind of get some information, where the last issue he actually got information from Nurgle. They brought Nurgle back. So he's kind of playing this whole game with it. It's not much to talk about with it. It's just another issue. And this whole thing...
It's hard to review Constantine. Constantine seems to have kind of long-running arcs, and a lot of them are just, this is flowing this way, and it's like,
it's flowing
until you get a
way,
conclusion to something,
way.
it's kind of hard to review it.
It's really hard to review it, and especially with this whole one being the fact that his issues started stemming from the fact that he can't get an erection.
Yeah.
So it's kind of...
I've been off and on with... I've read a bunch of the Hellblazer, but I haven't read this latest one. So
I enjoy it, but it's really a hard book to review. It really is a hard book to review. What else did you get done this week?
My last one that I read was The Flash, which was the War of the Flashes this week, which I would say this is definitely my number 2 pick of the week. I did like Detective. Metal had my problems with. I like Doomsday Clock. But I would say my second favorite was The Flash this week, because this is last week we know last month Barry Allen lost his powers to Grodd. Grodd took the Speed Force. Then Barry Allen recaptured the lightning rod and put the lightning rod back and regained his Speed Force, but ended up opening up the Speed Force for Grodd to take possession mentally of all the other Flashes. So he had possession of Godspeed, both Wally West's, Mina, I think she's the Negative Flash, I think. And there's the one other girl, I can never remember her name. But they were against Barry Allen, and they were chasing him down, and he's trying to... they're being mind-controlled by Grodd, but Grodd is basically showing them Barry Allen's mind and what he thinks of them from the worst possible thoughts that Barry Allen's ever had about them. So they're seeing Barry Allen see them as young, punk, inexperienced, and that he wants all the Speed Force for himself. And he's just kind of fueling that and fueling their rage against Barry Allen. Well, he manages to break Wally West out of it by reminding him of Iris, the original Wally West.
Right.
He reminds him of Iris, and so Wally West breaks free of Grodd for a minute and tells him, look, there's one way you can defeat Grodd, and he can't really tell him how to do it. I don't know. It's kind of left up near whether he tells him or not, and then it kind of cuts away. And then you see that they're all the Flash are chasing Barry Allen down, and finally comes down to Grodd shows up himself. And Grodd is basically pissed off. And you see there's a moment of sympathy for Grodd in this that I thought was really interesting. I think Joshua Williamson's writing this. But there's a really interesting moment of sympathy for Grodd, because Grodd's got this incurable disease, and he's dying, and he needs the Speed Force to heal himself. Mm-hmm. And so he tells Barry Allen, Barry Allen says, you can read my mind all you want, but the reason you can't defeat me is because the thing I use to defeat you is in my heart, and you can't read that. And Grodd is like, you think you know me, you don't know anything about trying to save your people and being rejected time and time again. And then it shows flashbacks of him in the jungle, like being like persecuted for speaking up about stuff, and like the other apes throwing rocks at him and kind of banishing him and like turning their backs on him. And you see Grodd just alone. He's like a gorilla alone. The other gorillas won't have anything to do with him. And you kind of see into Grodd's past, and there is this kind of sad moment. You see Grodd, like the reason he is so angry is that his people just turn their backs on him his whole life. And so Barry Allen actually kind of sees that and says, well, and he starts to manipulate the lightning rod thing. And he's like, well, what are you doing? And he said, I'm going to do what I should have done the whole time, which is try to save you with all of my power. And he hits him with a blast of the Speed Force, and he cures Grodd of the disease that he had. But he only gave him like 1 split second of Speed Force to kill the disease in his body, and then pulled all of the Speed Force away from him and his mental power. So Barry Allen basically stripped Grodd back down to, well, all of his extra Speed Force power. He basically stripped Grodd back down to basic Grodd. He's still got the somewhat capable mental telepathy abilities, but he doesn't have Speed Force, and he's not this giant super gorilla that he was. And so Grodd, in reaction to that, and he frees all the other Flashes, and in reaction to that, Grodd he just turns off the Speed Force generating lightning rod that they have. He turns it off, but then the one girl, the negative Flash girl, and Mina, she snaps out of her Grodd possession and says, "Barry, don't let him do that. It's going to destroy everything." And Grodd said, "If I can't have the Speed Force, then I'm going to take you and Central City with me." And he turns off this thing which activates negative Speed Force all throughout the city. And the very last panel is just all of the city just exploding all around the Flashes. So we'll have to wait and see what happens at the end. But definitely a really cool look at Grodd an angle of Grodd I've never really seen. And a really cool face-off with all the Flashes, and a cool moment with Barry and Wally West. And I would definitely say if the Terrifics wasn't so great, this would have been my pick of the week. So this is my number 2 for sure. I reckon. And the Flash, I love the Flash. I could be biased because I've always been a big Barry Allen Flash fan, but man, I think Flash is better than ever now. Right now, if you're into Flash, read the comics right now. It's better than ever.
So that'll do it for this week with the DC Comics. Thank you all for joining us this week on our trip to what we hope will happen at C2E2. We got one more episode before we actually hit the ground running in Chicago.
Yes.
So, until next time, thank you and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Nerd Rage Renegades.